Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to the Cryptocurrency Show with our special guest today featuring Blaxx. So, we're going to be running this call from Discord today, guys. Things are going to look a little bit different, but you should be able to see me and Blaxx there in the corner. And depending upon who's talking about what, we'll get our screen shares up there. So, if you're making this to the live stream, thank you very much for donating your time to us in exchange for this entertainment. And if you're watching the recorded session after this, thank you as well for even coming to the recorded session. I know that it's not the same as being there in the live, so it means a lot to me whenever you watch the recorded sessions. What's up, Blaj? You want to introduce yourself to our people today?
Yo, what's up? I'm Blaž. I also go by Blaxx, which is my internet name or whatever. I've been in crypto since last May, so this is almost a year and a half. So I'm far from a pro or so.
That's a
That's
long time. That's a lot more than most people.
true. It's true. Still pretty new.
And I understand you got some kind of strategy to show us today, right?
Well, yeah, I can show off an indicator. I'm still working on the strategy because the market's been pretty weird recently. But yeah,
Yeah, market had a nice little pumpy pump. Kind of went
yeah,
against what I thought was going to happen.
definitely.
But hey, you can't predict everything with 100% certainty, right?
Yeah.
All right, my man. Blaj, what is it that you do for a profession?
For a profession, well, I just got a job half a year ago as a 3D mechanical designer, basically.
What does that consist
We,
of?
well, I 3D model like some sort of pressure vessels for the pharmaceutical industry,
Oh,
basically.
word?
It's pretty interesting. But
3D
yeah,
modeling.
yeah.
What kind of translation can that get into NFTs? I've seen people create 3D structures for the metaverse for people to live in and things like that. Have you ever tried translating that into 3D modeling for NFTs?
Not really. It's definitely doable. I've seen those things. Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah,
So this is for the medical industry,
yeah. Also, mostly for the pharmaceutical. Yeah.
pharmaceutical industry. Nice. Do you think that there's a way they can distribute 3D representations through NFTs? Do you think we could see NFTs having a place in the medical field?
That's a good question. I don't know if it would work for that particular use, but maybe. Well, talking about that, maybe like all patient records could be on a blockchain and stuff. That could probably help with the data.
That way, there wouldn't be much manipulation through the medical records.
Yeah. Like yesterday when we were looking at, I saw the news that the EU is apparently using blockchain and NFT technology to prevent um what's it called like I don't even know how, but to prevent phony physical goods from being distributed. I I would have to look that up. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that. And on a similar note, Binance's Soul token. Have you heard about that? The
Oh yeah,
Soulbound token.
yeah, I heard about it.
I mean, I don't use Binance anymore, and personally, I don't think I'd ever want to bind my identity to a token. But I can't say it's not progressive. It's definitely can be
Yeah,
useful.
personally, I'm not into that whole privacy thing. I'm not against it, but I'm just not that concerned about it. Um, but that's just me. I don't quite understand what they're trying to do with this Sol token. I don't see how that even helps with um, Launchpad projects because that's what they're trying to do with it. I don't know. Do you know anything?
I can't say I fully understand what the purpose behind this is
Yeah,
either. I think just at a surface level, they want to enhance KYC for their users. So if you do KYC verify, if you do get this soulbound token, then you get to participate in extra airdrops. I think they're creating another token around this as well. It might have some monetary value in the future, but as far as how much monetary value, I don't know. Who's to say? I can't see really any.
Well,
Go
the
ahead.
token itself can't have monetary value because they said that you can't distribute it at all. You can only have it,
The
if that's what
individual
you meant.
SO token that's assigned to you.
Yeah, yeah, you can only have it. You can't ever trade it.
They were talking about some other token that was coming on the launch pad that you might receive if you did do this. So perhaps that one would be tradable, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't dive too deep into it because, like I said, I'm no longer trading on Binance. Haven't been for probably about a year now since they stepped up their KYC restrictions. Because me personally, I I think privacy is a pretty big issue. I know on the blockchain,
it
everything's
is.
there, but whenever it comes to transacting on the internet or on a blockchain, I don't want I just don't want my addresses known. That way no one really has to know. If someone could find out how much money was in your bank account, they could potentially make you a target. So I just don't want
True.
to have too many addresses connected to myself that could identify me as the holder of that wallet.
You you mean targeted like by hackers and stuff,
I mean, even a government
or the
entity
government?
too. Yeah. I mean, I don't know
True.
what your government is like, but I wouldn't go as far as to say mine's tyrannical. We have a lot of freedoms here. Tyrannical is definitely overboard word for it, but my
Yeah.
government is oppressive, I would say, and definitely interested in keeping control. And we've seen
Yeah.
recently. I love highlighting real world events because we saw a few months ago that U.S. imposed sanctions on Russia, so that way they're weaponizing money. And here in a more recent case, on a smaller scale, we see an individual, Andrew Tate. You may have heard of him. Got a little bit of internet clout lately. He's been silenced. The same thing happened with the President of the United States. The President of the
Yeah.
United
Yeah.
States of America was silenced on Twitter. Andrew Tate, somebody that, a lot of people, he speaks about a bunch of controversial shit. I'm not going to say I'm a fan of Andrew Tate, but he does speak some truth. And that truth has been silenced, right? What else did
True.
they do to him? They stopped his accounts. They stopped him from being able to move money from one place to another. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That could never happen with
That
a
is
blockchain.
quite
I
something.
don't want them to know. I mean, unless they were to force my seed phrases out of me, I just don't want it to have to come to that. They'd never be able to control my money, lock it down, not let me spend it, or anything like that while I have all my funds in crypto. It's just not going to happen. No way.
True. It can on an exchange
Yeah,
because
if
they
you.
control your wallets. People don't
Yes,
understand that, but yeah,
that is a very good
it's
point.
not your money if it's on an exchange. You need to put it either in DeFi or on a cold wallet, like a physical wallet, like Ledger.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Speaking about exchanges, Coinbase has a large stake in Ethereum for the upcoming merge, and they were asked, what would they do if a government entity tried to tell them to surrender their assets or give up some data or something like that. And their ultimate answer was that they would burn the ETH that they had, their ETH stake, which I mean
So
that wouldn't have an effect on the holder or on the individual
true.
person who has their money in there. But if they were to, for one, you can't trust that they're going to burn all their stake just because they say they will. When push comes to shove and the moment is actually upon them, we have no idea what they're going to do. But
Wait. So you're saying that a single person has the power to like destroy the actual um asset?
it's hard to say a single person, but
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering
yeah,
because that doesn't sound very decentralized. You know what I mean?
it's not.
You're basically sure it's reverse inflation, but still, that's kind of the point of crypto that you can't change the amount of money that's in the system. Well, it depends on the asset, of course.
Well, apparently this is written into the um, the source code or whatever that it's
Okay.
possible to burn stake. So it's not like something new,
Right,
but
okay.
it's just
Well,
when
I'm not
somebody
saying it's scummy. I'm just saying.
well, with the merge anyway, because Ethereum's never been proof of stake. But when one entity has potentially that much control over something, that would be a very mass effect on the market as a whole. If somebody like Coinbase had to burn their entire stake, which I don't know how much it is, but it's a very, very large percentage of the current amount of staked ETH.
True. Yeah, it's. I don't think they would be willing to lose that.
We got a couple viewers here with us, brother. Not sure if you could see the comments, but Jenny says, "Let's go." Clinty says it's good to put a name to the face. I think he's happy to meet you, Blaj.
Hey, Johnny.
And Ananya says, "Made it in time." Yes, sir. You sure did, Mr. Ananya. We're just getting started here. Let me grab a drink of water real quick, my good sir. Just woke up over here in the States for this meeting. Actually, on Saturdays, I don't set an alarm. I like to sleep in, so usually wouldn't even be awake yet. Haven't had breakfast, so my body's a little dehydrated. The first bottle of water here, and we haven't had any vitamin water yet. Still trying to get that sponsorship, though. If you guys don't know, I like drinking vitamin water, and I'm trying to get them to sponsor me some vitamin water, so that way I can drink vitamin water on my stream and not have to pay for it. So vitamin water, one day you're going to sponsor me. Mr. Blaj, would you care to show us a little bit about your strategy that you're kind of working on, sir, and tell us a little bit how you're looking for your entries and how you manage the trade, etc.?
Yeah, sure. I can go over it a bit.
Sweet deal, brother.
So I've been reading a book by Wilder. That's his last name. He is the person that back in the 70s invented the parabolic SAR, the RSI, the ADX, the average true range, like a lot of the indicators that we use today. I know that the ADX and especially the RSI are incredibly popular today. The RSI definitely the most out of all of these. So I've been using the RSI and the ADX in kind of in the way that he initially intended it, because a lot of these things people seem to have forgotten over the years. So for RSI, if I expand it, what he does is, well, back in the day, they didn't have computers and stuff. They calculated everything, every single point on the RSI by hand for every time frame. It was insane. And I saw like a picture in his book. He gave an example. They seem to get like the prices like the actual candlestick chart on a piece of paper. Like, I don't know, like they buy a newspaper or something. I don't know how they did that. And he just like drew an RSI below it. So what he does, let's for example ignore this part. It's already broken this, but the RSI would look something like this, so very contracted, and he would actually, like it's already here, draw trend lines on it. So he already figured that out, that it does actually go by that. And like this is a very good example. Basically, whenever it breaks out, you can expect a strong movement into that direction, because this just takes for so long. So here we have an example. Broke out on, inside of this big red candle, and that's a very strong move down. It's not the best example because it was very far from the edge, so it was hard to play that. You wouldn't be able to short that a lot in this case. Let's see what happened here. Well, this is a better example. So this big green candle broke out the top line of the wedge on the RSI, and you would definitely be able to play that. You would be able to long that. So it's again another strong move to the upside. The next thing, which I'm sure many of your viewers already know is he looked at divergences. The one problem with this is that he didn't go into details, like he never mentioned regular and regular and hidden divergences. He didn't differentiate between those two. So he only actually gave an example of normal divergences, which would be this, for example. Price went down here, but the RSI went up on these lows. And this is a very good example because it's way below the 30 line. So that's another thing. In my opinion, I think divergences are only really valid if they are close to the 30 and the 70 line or out of the zone. Because mathematically, it has to be a really, really strong move to break either of those lines. So that means that the divergence signal is also very strong in those zones. So yeah, you can see here there was a divergence and price went up a lot. So basically, also another thing that's also it also happens on the MACD. Sometimes when you see the RSI moving towards the 50 line, which is neutral, that can mean a consolidation, because if price would like stay still approximately for quite a while, like 14 plus candles, you would see the RSI just be around the 50 line. So because like people can mistake a move towards the 50 line as a signal to the opposite direction, but that's not necessarily true, just based on the maths behind it, because I've seen how it's calculated. The MACD is even more obvious for that, but I'm not covering it today. I don't use it that much. Here's another example that we've got right now. Another very good example here, price going up. This is like actually quite a weird example because you don't even have like peaks, so to say, but the RSI is going down. Actually, this is insane RSI. It's like 86. This is you don't see that every day.
You're right. You do not see that every day, especially on
Yeah,
the 1 hour time frame. I
yeah.
think that whenever I've seen formations like this in the past, though, they sometimes have a tendency to disrespect TA.
Hold on, where did I see? Yeah, my ADX went all the way to 87 on the 15-minute.
That was a
You
strong
can know how
move.
rare that is. But I think the ADX in this indicator is a bit different. I don't know how.
But here, I just got the regular ADX open on the 15-minute, and it went up to 75.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty.
I,
It's like right there.
I will explain this indicator, but just to let you know, I found this. It's a custom one. I found it, but the person has the the code hidden, so I don't know how he calculates the ADX. It, but I just go with it for now. It seems close enough. It actually seems better to me because it's very much smoother and yeah.
Don't you hate when they don't
Anyway,
put the source code on there?
huh?
Don't you hate when they don't put the source code on
Yeah.
there?
Now that I actually know PineScript a bit, yeah. Before that, I didn't care that much because I didn't understand it, but I've been looking into it a bit
Do a lot of
because
good
I
stuff
had
on
to.
PunchScript.
Yeah, it's actually very easy to program stuff. You can, I think you can make the RSI in a single line, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
if you
it's not
ignore
too
the
difficult.
mandatory lines. Yeah,
Past a certain point, I mean, it can become very difficult based upon what you're trying to establish or convey.
yeah. So based on this RSI, it seems to be a good idea to go short. Oh, see, actually, now that I look at it, this is the very thing I was explaining. See how price isn't actually moving anywhere. This is a consolidation. There's no doubt about it. But the RSI is moving down. So that's not a signal that it's bearish. Well, this divergence is, but not the move down. Because we've actually, It's trying to go back to the 50 line. So we'll see what happens. I am short for, well, this is also one reason I'm short, but my entry was based on a different strategy, so to say, that I'm testing out based on market structure. So yeah, definitely try and draw things on the RSI. It helps if you double click it so it expands. You zoom out, and even though it seems stupid to draw over such a long time, it's not, because like here we've got some new information here we can draw like this. Oh, what's this? 1 hour. So yeah, we can see if it might respect this line, and like this will be probably like days or weeks before it touches this again. But it's something you can, like, breaks or bounces off of these lines can be used to confirm the breaking of trend lines on the price chart. I don't know if I have an example right now I can show, but yeah.
So it's just like a trend line analysis performed on the actual RSI itself.
Yes.
And you're
Yes.
just relaying the breakouts to the candlesticks to see if the breakouts follow the RSI, or maybe they precede or come a little bit behind based upon the RSI breakout. Yeah.
Yeah. So I use it as confirmation. Like, but sometimes it's a bit weird because price can. Let's say you have like. Let me just draw something quickly. You have like a wedge, and price is like going like this, and like price will do this, and the RSI will already break down from the trend line. So I'm not. I don't enter when that happens. I usually prefer it that it breaks the trend line, and then the RSI also breaks. And then a very good entry is when it retraces back. And sometimes, well, a lot of the times, as far as I've noticed, is that the RSI actually retraces the line from the bottom as well, and then goes down. So it does mimic the price in that way, but the move has to be perfect.
Very nice, sir. When was it that you started working with this strategy?
Um, it's been a few months now that I've tried this with the RSI. Um, yeah,
Mainly in
basically
Bitcoin?
anywhere I see an opportunity. I look at my top 5, 7, 8 coins, and I just chart them from the daily, and yeah. Oh, I think we have a very. Oh yeah, this is a very good example, and you'll remember this because I shared it. I think we were playing something like this. So we have a rising wedge here on the daily chart, and we also have an ascending triangle on the. Look at this. Look at how long that is
Damn.
actually. You
Back
would
from
think that is stupid
2021.
because that's way back in January 2021.
That's a long-term trend line right there.
Yep.
I think whenever what is that on the daily?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'd love to see what would happen to price once
Daily.
we get over that.
Definitely.
So we can see there on the daily, it even looks like it's cut. The
Right.
RSI looks like it's coming close to touching that line there.
True.
Think there could be a little bit of
And
negative reaction from price?
definitely because this is very steep. I don't. This doesn't happen on the daily. Well, it did here. What was there? Oh, the actual July last year.
Baby, would you feed Neo? He's mad.
It did go up quite a lot, it seems. We'll see. This play is kind of weird right now. I just kind of can't see myself being bullish right now, even though this does give a few signals.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
looks
think
like
it's
on the
enough.
daily a potential for a 3 bar play too.
Yeah, true.
Matter of fact, let me see how long till that closes.
I I might decide on
Nine
actually playing
hours.
this by opening another position in the opposite direction.
I think a reasonable wager on the 3 bar play wouldn't be too bad, you know.
Yeah,
If you jump in whenever this
exactly.
bar closes, depending upon where it closes, the downside of that wick wouldn't be too bad. This whole bar here has got 3%, so I think that's doable.
Yeah, I'm playing this based on. Um, I'm still researching this, but basically it's how banks work. I'm just not sure how institutionalized Bitcoin is so far. Hard word. Um,
What was it that BlackRock was? What are they doing? They're offering their clients Bitcoin investing now.
Not yet, I think, but they are gonna. I think they're gonna try and have their own ETF, if I've heard correctly.
Ah, so
They
they'll
are
let
they
people
are
buy the
interested in.
ETF and then they'll buy the spot Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know because the I know that the U.S. Regulatory bodies have been very against the ETFs, the spot ETFs for Bitcoin. Like anytime someone's tried, they said no,
Isn't that
basically.
funny? It's almost like they want to
Yeah,
keep the control
exactly.
of the money supply or something.
But since BlackRock controls 10% of the world's economy,
Which is how
it
much
seems
trillions
that
of dollars?
10, I think, or even
$10 trillion.
more. Yeah. I don't know if they own that
It's a
much, but
lot.
they control that much. Um,
Well, yeah,
yeah, they're
probably
way
not
more
all theirs,
influential.
but with their investors and
Yeah,
shit, it adds up.
yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, so they probably have the power to make it to make an ETF out of this.
It looks like we got a couple comments here. And Anya says, whenever you introduce a strategy, he kept an eye on it, parallel to add the SMA 50 on the RSI. Carpe Diem says, screen isn't clear. I don't know if I'm the only one who's experienced that on my mobile. I think it might be because of we're using Discord today, brother. So I think it might be a little fuzzy on the OBS whenever we do the screen share. Ananya says the SMA 50 on RSI also acts as support and resistance, similar to the
Yeah,
trend line
sure.
on RSI. Yeah,
Why
yeah.
not? But I don't use EMAs and SMAs that much. I just could never, well, not figure it out, but I could never incorporate it into my strategy. I might try and do it. Did you say SMA 50? I don't know if there's an option for that on this.
Let me see if I can switch to. No, I can't switch anything. Sorry, fellas. That's the quality we got today. Oh no, Clinty switched to 1080p. It might work. All right, nice, sweet. Yeah, guys. I guess if
Cool.
it looks bad for you, just try and switch your resolution to 1080p. It might clean up a bit.
Oh wait, I can change it to 1080p too. I, oh no, I can't. I need Discord Nitro. Damn it.
Oh, I could change my
That's
screen
annoying.
quality.
You have Nitro?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, because I use the shit. I'm Discord mod,
I'm an admin. Just somewhere else. So yeah, I should
Yeah,
maybe I should
I got
do
the
that.
Nitro some months ago. Well, because I have my server too. So,
Yeah,
the main thing for
true.
me was I wanted to be able to stream in badass quality. But I think I'm gonna tone it down to. I
True.
think it was working fine there. Because I'm running my miner right now too, so I don't want to overload my connection. But I think that should be fine.
I can explain quickly what I'm making this short based on. So when I was saying earlier how institutions actually buy and sell assets, this works for Forex and stocks as well. Basically, we, the traders and investors, are way too small to move the price at all. Definitely. So what banks do, they have like when they want to make a move, they do actually, for example, what happened here, they bought the asset, it spiked up because there's that many orders, but the thing is that their orders are so big that they can't do it in single, let's say, order, because it would move the price way too much and they wouldn't profit that much. So what they do is they spike it up, they wait for the price to actually start retracing, and then they buy again. So that's why you have like a consolidation like this where they don't do anything, then it like they manipulate it down, then it spikes up. This is an example. But here I'm actually thinking that this might not be the bullish move yet, and they're actually manipulating it up so that they can get back into this zone that they can short. So yeah, that's my strategy here. I could be full of shit. I don't know. I'm still testing this out.
No, it seems
So
very
we'll see.
plausible. I mean, you're definitely right
Yeah.
about smart money cycles
And
because smart money does move the market in such a fashion.
yeah. And definitely when it comes here, back to this consolidation zone, and if I see a reaction, I think I'm going to try longing as well.
Think that could signal that the bottom's in, huh?
Yeah. I'll see what the actual momentum will be when it goes down. We'll see.
Yeah, so far, I mean, this previous low that we had here was 18,451, and the one before that was 17,600. So as
Yeah.
long as this low doesn't get broken here, this is technically serving as a higher low, and potentially could indicate the bottom. Now, I've been the boy that cried
Yeah.
bear for quite some time, saying we're going to break below 17K, possibly into 14K. So we'll have to see how this low gets treated here. Technically, on the short term, this is a downtrend, because this high is not as high or higher than the previous high of August 15th.
Yeah.
But on the larger picture, this is technically forming a higher low. So we'll have to see. Currently, price is a bit of a wedge, very large wedge, but we'll see how it gets treated.
Higher low? Where
What
do you
was
have the
it?
higher low? Where do you see the higher low?
Right now, it's that
Yeah.
candlestick.
Are you on the
September
daily or
7th. Yeah, I'm on the daily. Yeah, that September 7th candlestick. That's higher than the
higher than that? Oh yeah,
June
yeah, yeah.
18th
You're right. Yeah,
candlestick.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry, I
you're a
wasn't.
little too zoomed in.
Yeah, I thought you meant like
Yeah, no, see, you've
now.
got a trend line on yours. I don't have a trend line connected
Yeah,
to
yeah,
my bottom two yet, but that trend line's sloping up. So, and we could see you have a
definitely.
lot of nice active trend lines right there. You can see we're at a pretty strong price conflict.
No, it might actually be making a channel. We'll see. Well, actually, but this isn't a very pretty channel. It's more of a megaphone.
Something of that.
It's too soon to tell, I think.
Yeah, it's a little too
We'll
soon to
see.
tell if this is the bottom or not, but I mean, we just got to be cautious because right now, too, if you look at what price is, you can see you have a trend line there from, I think that's connecting June 18th low to July 12th low, and that looks like a retest of the bear flag break. It looks potentially like we're retesting that line right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually didn't think of that when I saw this, but yeah, I did
It was
put
a
my stop loss above that line and above this consolidation. I probably should have put it even higher, but well, we'll see. I can always re-enter.
based off of the average true range. You could have added some to your stop loss.
Yeah,
No, I've not used the average true range to account for stop losses. I've
I
seen
mean,
people do it, but I generally
no,
just
I don't.
try to put it over a previous swing high or low whenever I'm charting. It kind of depends on my entry, why I took the entry and what strategy I'm chasing after, but generally I'll try and do the same thing as you there. Just target a little bit above recent swing high.
Yeah, I don't use average true range. It was invented by the same person that
And that
had
guy's made
these
quite a
two.
bit of
Yeah,
contributions to the game, huh?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, I will say though, the book is a hard read because it's like so old-fashioned. It's
My
oh god,
goodness, have you ever read Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham?
I was reading it yesterday.
It gives you ulcers on your brain, doesn't it?
See, yeah, see, because I don't understand like all those bonds and stuff. What? And it's like, what?
Basically, they're
I'm
trash.
lucky.
Basically, they're fucking garbage. That's all you need to get from that part of the book.
Yeah,
They're garbage.
yeah. I think what is the later part better? I don't know.
For me, the
Because
most.
there were,
I mean, there's a lot of good concepts in the books. I mean, he kind of shits on
yeah,
technical analysis, and I think he's a smart dude, made a lot of people a lot of money, and people that have followed his methods have made a lot of money. There's
yeah, sure,
definitely with the technology we have today, there's a lot of improvements in technical analysis. But what
yeah,
I got from the book, I mean, the biggest thing I got from it was buying retraces. It's pretty
yeah,
obvious
yeah,
if you have an asset that you have faith in that has performed well in the past and it's got 50 to 80% drawback,
yeah.
buy that shit. Buy that shit and just wait. That's
So
probably the main point I
I
took out of the book.
yeah, basically, and some like some pretty sound logic that most people don't think about. Like, for example, one of the best I won't say quotes because I probably can't quote him directly, but he said that basically when people like when you have like a bear market like we're in now and people are still afraid to buy because it might go lower. Come on, man, it's 80% down. What are you waiting for? Like, and he said that if it's stupid to listen to people at the top of the market saying that it's still going to go to the moon, then it's also stupid to listen to people at the bottom of the market saying that it's still going to last for months or years. Buy, just buy, and not all at once. You can just DCA. Oh, that's
Yeah.
another thing he actually talks about, the DCA method. It does actually help. Some pretty interesting numbers. Like even in a bear market, if you just keep buying every month, well, not month here because like this is very short for a bear market because it's crypto. But like say if you buy every week here, for example, it can actually turn out that you would actually have a higher amount than you would if you just bought everything like at the top and it fell down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if over that time you would be buying the same amount summed up. Basically, I hope I was clear on that.
Yeah, the DCA strategy is a very good strategy to be successful. I mean, depending upon the asset
Yeah,
you're looking at, some altcoins may never see their all-time high again. So you have to be careful whenever
yeah,
you're looking at altcoins and trying to DCA invest in them. But an asset
definitely.
like Bitcoin, I mean, with the current market history we have, it's almost like a promise. It's almost like
Yeah.
a guaranteed you're gonna get your money 2x to
Mm,
3x. I mean, right now Bitcoin being at 22K, let's just put it at 20K for easy math's sake, and we're gonna get back up to 60K. That's a 3x. I don't know why anyone would be scared of making a 3x, but you're absolutely
I
right.
know.
I talk to people,
I know.
pretty often about investing into Bitcoin, and the main thing is people don't know what they're doing. Like we were talking earlier, there's a big lack of formal education around cryptocurrency, and for some people, for some people they only use it to buy drugs. For some people, only criminals use it. For some people, it's just not safe, and hundreds of thousands of people are just gonna wait for their government to tell them to do something with it. They're not going to
Pretty much, yeah.
take the action or the initiative to do something yourself until it's too late, until everyone's fucking doing it. And then at
Yeah,
that point, who knows how much they'll have to pay for a Bitcoin? Probably excess of 100K plus. I would like to ration.
definitely. Like I've been looking at Glassnode just today, I think, and I was looking for a. Well, in stocks, you have a measure. It's called what is it? Price to the P&E ratio. What is it again? If you know,
I haven't
uh,
touched
uh,
stocks
um,
since in
price to
years.
earnings ratio. It's basically if that's really high,
Oh
that means that
yeah,
the price of the stock is way too much for the earnings of the company. So I was thinking how you could equate that with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
it's a lot
And then it
harder.
kind of hit me. Number of transactions,
That's a good
basically.
way to do it. Absolutely, that's a
Yeah.
good way to
And
see
I
if
was
a
looking,
blockchain's actually being used or not.
yeah. Glassnode actually has uh, a measure of the Lightning Network smart contract, basically, and it shows how many transactions there are on it. And even in this bear market, that number has just been skyrocketing. It didn't even slow it down.
On the Lightning Network.
So yeah, that's another that's another proof that the price has nothing to do with the value of the asset in crypto at all.
It's just because so many people don't understand. That's a
Yeah.
very big reason why. And you were saying something about the price to earnings for stocks. That is very good information. You can do a lot more fundamental analysis on stocks because the company has so much information available. But in the crypto, and especially in these fucking altcoins, it's so hard to tell who's actually doing what, who's producing, what is being you know.
Yeah.
But Glassnode does offer a shitload of information for you to thumb through
Definitely.
and go through. So I'm glad you're having fun with Glassnode there. Let me see. Do a quick update on our comments here. Where did we leave off at? Clinny is actually Crypto Clin. Good to see y'all. Yeah, I figured that much. Ananya says, did not institutions start offering financial instruments on Bitcoin for people who want to invest in Bitcoin but not own any? Yeah, there are institutions rolling that out now at a very small scale
Yes.
and to prominent investors. So, for the most part, they're not just offering it to anybody. They're targeting high net worth individuals who are willing to take somebody if some dude wants to throw in, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I got $100 to put in on Bitcoin this month. BlackRock don't give a shit about that. They're trying to
Yeah.
ask people who have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in capital to kind of that way they can sway things in their favor from the start. But eventually it's going to trickle down to the little guy. But hopefully the little guy will realize that he doesn't need the big guy to invest for him, that he could just buy his own fucking Bitcoin. And Ananya also says he likes the books. And Janny says, think people like to use the ATR on Forex with pips. Yeah, I've actually not spent any time trading Forex. I've dabbled in there for like a half a second, I would say, but cumulatively, I didn't spend really any time in Forex trading pips or
Yeah.
working with lot sizes or the average true range. But I have heard plenty of people who predominantly trade Forex say that ATR is a good indicator. And I'm not going to say it's not. Everybody has their own preference in indicators. I'm pretty sure if you've ever heard me talk about anything, my favorite indicators. I stick to the
Yeah,
same
definitely.
ones.
Um, I have actually been looking into Forex a bit. I don't want to like day trade it that much because it is taxed in our country.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um, but I think it might be worthwhile to actually manage part of your, let's say, well, you can't really say, well, yeah, you can manage some of your stable coins. You can, because if you saw how much the euro fell compared to the dollar, you would, it was actually worthwhile to hold dollars for months because it was falling. So you can actually boost your portfolio of fiat with that. You know what I mean?
There's
So basically, any your stablecoin bag,
yeah, there's
because
definitely a way to profit from the moves for sure. I mean, just a little
yeah,
bit less, or actually way less
you just
volatile than crypto.
there's just a lot more fundamental analysis than in crypto, if you ask me, because of all the rates and economy stuff. It's just quite a
Something
lot.
too that a lot of people like about Forex is that there is so much price action history within a very close range. Like we see
Yeah,
Bitcoin pushing up, making new all-time highs every 4 years. It's hard to predict those kinds of things and those kinds of cycles. But in
yeah,
Forex, you have obvious support and resistance, and those fucking lines have been there forever. It's not
yeah.
like we're creating new all-time highs or discovering new lows every
hmm
single day, or the ranges in that of 80% swings. So that's
See, I've actually actually have an idea. I don't think I ever need to have that taxed because I can just do the charting on the on TradingView, and I don't actually need like an actual forex exchange I can just convert my coins on Binance. Yeah, I can do it in stable coins. There's a stable coin for euros, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, there should be, but I think actually Binance allows you to convert to fiat and just have it on there,
Well, if there's a,
basically.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way, is what I always say.
Exactly.
I don't, I try to avoid as many taxes as possible here in the States. I mean, I have to
Yeah.
comply to some degree, but for the most
Uh,
part, I try to just do everything on, that's one of the most appealing things to crypto for me is because a lot of people don't realize that my country started an entire fucking war over taxation without representation. And then just a few years later, I didn't exist, for all these decades where all this change happened, obviously. But I believe it's theft. I mean, people are going to say, oh, how
mm,
are we going to build schools, roads, all that good shit? There's a way to do that without taxing the people. And I personally believe it's theft. So I just try to avoid taxation as much as possible by trading on unverified exchanges without KYC. And I mean, I don't know how you could, if it would be possible to do this with Forex. I've never tried to sign up to a Forex exchange, and not KYC, but um, if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, if you want to play the Forex game and avoid having to pay tax on every single realized gain, if you think hard enough, you'll be able to find a way.
yeah. Yeah, I'll say that I haven't actually checked how depositing and withdrawing aren't are going how it's done on Forex exchanges. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. I mean, hell, if they allow me to transfer into crypto directly by now, well, I should be able to avoid some taxes. But then again, I have to do KYC probably. So yeah, who knows? Um,
Another good
oh,
benefit here, at least in the States, is as far as taxes go, you only have to pay on a realized gain. So if I don't like if I
mhm,
have money in my KYC account and it goes up in Bitcoin or whatever, the value goes up in USD, but I don't convert
yeah,
it back to fiat, I instead convert it to a stable coin and don't withdraw that stable coin, it's not going to be taxed. It's not a taxable event.
yeah, same here. I think that's why I'm thinking about this. I think you can get around it. We are quite well off with the crypto taxation. Like just this February, I think, our country has passed a new crypto tax, and it's basically everything that you put on a bank from crypto. They just tax 5% of that, and only if it exceeds 15,000 euros, or
Oh,
well,
well, that's
dollars is
not
the same thing
too
now,
bad.
yearly.
Oh, yearly?
So that's really not bad.
If you're living off your crypto, I'm still going to get taxed on
Yeah,
it, but 5% is great. I mean, that's
yeah,
still sucks to have to
yeah.
give away
5%
five
is
percent of your
pretty
money,
good.
but still,
I mean, hell, India does 50%.
Oh yeah, we do that shit too.
I can confirm that.
Yeah, our realized taxes on Bitcoin are fucking high.
Yeah, what are they?
I think
I don't even know for
45%.
America. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's pretty fucking rugged right now.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
uh
bad.
that's another deterrent, to keep people away from Bitcoin. They don't want people to profit in it. They don't want people to engage in it at all. They're gonna try and scare people away.
True.
But that's just part of, the government trying to keep its power. I think any entity that rose to power is going to try and keep it, but there's a certain way that you have to handle things and new technological developments. This is something that I don't think the best forecasters could have foreshadowed. So whenever they have to approach this, they should do it in a diplomatic way that encourages the people to adopt innovation. Like right now, I think that America is pushing innovation overseas with all the regulations and things that they're trying to set up here.
Right.
It's like, how the fuck are we going to become, if you want to maintain your status as a global power, you should be harvesting innovation on your soil and encouraging your citizens to partake in the movement rather than telling them, trying to cover up the information and turn them in the opposite direction from a very clear global movement that's happening here. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I think we're still waiting for that breakthrough on cryptocurrencies and as far as how they are used in everyday life. Because, realistically, Bitcoin can't really be used as a currency in your day-to-day yet. Well,
I
you
mean,
can,
you noted the Lightning. I'm not a big fan of the Lightning
yeah,
Network myself personally, but you noted it earlier that transactions are skyrocketing on the Lightning
yeah,
Network. I mean, it's built on, it's built on Bitcoin, so I don't
yeah, but
exactly support it 100%, but we're making that transition to where things become easier. Litecoin transactions can be settled within a fraction of a second before it actually gets to the blockchain. Now, once it lands on Bitcoin's blockchain, the store does the end of day processing, you get home and close the channel, whatever the fuck. That's a different story.
mhm,
But as far as an instantaneous transaction, Lightning Network provides that already. And there are other cryptocurrencies too that provide incredibly fast transaction times.
yeah. It's just a question of what those transactions are used for. If it's just for holding, which there's nothing wrong with that. Stocks are only used for that, as far as I know.
Yeah, yeah,
Mostly,
but
and voting power, which, yeah, but crypto actually has more utility.
and I try to put it in people's heads. It's like gold has been the hardest currency for the last 5,000 years.
Hmm.
At one point, we were using straight up gold pieces based upon weight to carry value. We're just measuring value in the weight of gold, and just carrying around these rocks and using that to pay for shit. But even in today's standards, gold still exists. It's still the number one, as far as history dictates. It's still the number one storage and transfer of value over space and time. So people are arguing, that's a major argument for people. It's like, oh, well, we can't use it, in our everyday lives, so we're just not going to fuck with it. It's not like people tote gold around either. You don't pay for gold. You
Yeah.
don't pay with gold at McDonald's. There's a subsequent fiat currency, which is a really shitty way of transferring value over space and
Hmm.
time that we're using to interact with. So, I mean, we could, if I could convince McDonald's to accept gold, then I could carry
Yeah.
around gold and pay for things in gold. So, part of it now is up to us, your local merchants. If they're not on Bitcoin yet, I mean, it's going to be hard to convince the fucking shift manager at Domino's that they need to accept crypto. But, if you're looking
Hmm.
at local businesses, mom and pops businesses, it starts within our very own communities. We got to go up to those merchants. We got to enlighten them with Bitcoin, and we got to show them, hey, like here in my country, I don't know what it's like for the rest of the world, but if you take a payment with credit card, you actually have to pay money. There's a fee for accepting credit cards. You can bypass a 4% fee and increase profits just by accepting Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
but then you're like, "Oh, my people don't accept Bitcoin." Okay, well, here's another chance for the merchant to come up, right? Because now they can refer their, like, "Hey, we accept Bitcoin." And the dude's like, "I don't know anything about that." Here's a free brochure. Here's Bitcoin do's and don'ts. Here's welcome to blockchain. So, we tell our merchant, people interact with the merchant tells them to do Bitcoin, and that's how we can start spreading this information on a local level,
Hmm.
outside of the internet.
True.
Because most of the time people there's this superiority complex I've come to find where people, especially in Bitcoiners, someone who is just like a straight up Bitcoiner, doesn't fuck with altcoins at all. They're a
Hmm.
Bitcoin maxi is what they call them. They're gonna
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
something like they're gonna act like they're better than you. They're gonna act like you're stupid because you don't have Bitcoin and because you didn't buy it when they did. And that is like gatekeeping in a sense. It pushes people even further away. So it's like,
Hmm.
hey man, let's defeat
It's
some of
true.
that. Let's help our neighbor and let's get everyone turned on to Bitcoin and crypto. That's how it's gonna have to start, right? Because we can't
Yeah.
rely on governments
And,
to make the initiative.
and see what also I think drives people away, and I think we've had this discussion one day. Um, People ask, well, how are you going to price anything in Bitcoin in, for example, a store if the value is so volatile? But people are thinking about it the wrong way. You just only need to set the actual price in Bitcoin once and then stop even comparing it to fiat. Just
That's
just do away
absolutely.
with like comparing it against the dollar. because not only is honestly, Bitcoin is still losing value because it's still inflationary right now. The only reason it's not is because the interest in it is actually overpowering that inflation for now, and it's gonna be inflationary until 2140 when it stops being mined. But yeah, the interest by then will way overpower the amount. So yeah, just stop comparing it to crypto if that's your goal. Just price it once, just convert your goods into Bitcoin value and go by that. Leave it like that.
That's a good way that I would honestly say to do it, is to try and see the value in Bitcoin and charge what you want to receive in Bitcoin for your product. But, for a merchant who doesn't or can't convert into that for whatever reason into those thinking terms, they could additionally too have like whenever you go to a foreign exchange um, seller, if you want to go
Hmm.
fucking give them one currency and get another, they have the rates right there, and most of them have them in like a little LED digital strip or some shit like that. And merchants can do that too. They could have it posted at the cash register with the current conversion rate. It could update on a daily basis, on an hourly
Hmm.
basis, on whatever time frame they would like it to be. Because at the start of the day, we see Bitcoin can go 10% in a day like it did yesterday. So
Yeah.
obviously, you would have to, in those super volatile moves, you could adjust for it, or you could just charge the same fucking price. It wouldn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, there is an option and there is a way. People just trying to avoid hard work.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. I understand them. Like we can't lie to ourselves because like fiat still has a place in the world for now. We can't just do away with it in like a year or something. It's gonna take quite a while,
Unfortunately, it
definitely.
does have a place in the
Yeah.
world. I agree with you. It's going
Because
to
yeah,
take a long. It may exist through our lifetimes. Fuck, who knows? Maybe not
yeah,
the currencies that exist right now, but we might have a new fiat currency introduced. Fuck, you never
yeah.
know.
Because yeah, if you do price everything in Bitcoin like I suggested, but then the price of Bitcoin doubles, people still have mostly fiat, and they're gonna see, well, hey, why do I have to pay 2 times as much for an ice cream that I did like a month ago?
Well,
It's not gonna be
it's
fair. But
exactly
once,
because the
yeah,
value of their fiat is shit.
exactly.
Because their
But
fiat doesn't hold value.
but once they actually hold a bunch of Bitcoin, they're gonna see that the price isn't changing at all. You know?
It's hard to, yeah, man, it's hard to convince somebody that the fiat that their government issues them is actually nothing more than a fucking scam and a means of controlling them. It's hard to get somebody to understand and see
Yeah.
that, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, Bitcoin's too volatile. It doesn't hold value. How can you use it? Like, how can you use that stupid fake magic internet money? It doesn't even hold its value.
Yeah.
No, thank you." I'm like, bro, do you know what a chart of the dollar looks like since 1913? It's actually depreciated
Yeah.
99%. You can
Yep.
the exact thing that you talk about, if were trying to buy something in 1960 versus now, you'll have to spend more fiat. But if you were trying to buy something in 1960 versus now with gold, you would have to spend less gold. Why? Because the purchasing power of gold went up. Why?
Yeah.
Because it is actually sound money. But that's not the same with fiat. The
True.
reason the purchasing power with fiat doesn't go up is because the government doesn't want you to have an increase in purchasing power. They want to continually break down the lower classes and stop people from rising up to those levels. I think I think that I don't know. There's a very small amount of people. It's like the 1%er is somewhere around. I think you have to net like 500K annually or some shit like that. And that's not a lot of people can do that. Less than 1% of the population can do that.
Yeah. In the USA, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the USA. So I mean, fuck, there's like a very, very, very small group of people with the money. I mean, it's not so far different from Bitcoin now. There's a very small group of people who have a shitload of Bitcoin now. But the fact of this matter is that Bitcoin's not going to be devalued by some fucking government monetary policy or overprinting or whatever the fuck. It's not going to be devalued by any human's actions or any You know what I'm trying to say.
Sure. I I've had a question for you actually.
Yeah,
Um,
sure, man. Let's
y- y-
take that questions here and any other questions from anybody in our comments too. You guys have any questions? We can start to wrap up here. What you got for me, Blaj?
I heard you say one day in one of our chats that how the dollar is handled is actually against your constitution. Can you talk
Mm-hmm.
about that? I'm curious. How?
Yeah, so a lot of people haven't really read the Constitution, and our founding forefathers were aware because whenever the war was happening, uh, whenever United States of America was trying to gain their independence from Britain in the Revolutionary War, there was the Continental Dollar, and that was fucking printed to oblivion. It was hyperinflated through overprinting.
Mhm.
So our founding fathers stated in our Constitution that the government is not to create any type of bills or anything like that. That they can coin money, but it's only supposed to be based off the weight of the actual money, right? They don't mean
Mm.
coining money by bringing these like little quarters and pennies into existence like that. We were actually using silver for a while until I think about 1965, where they're like, hey, you know what? Silver is too precious to be used as money, so we're not going to do that anymore. I'm like, are you fucking joking me? That's the whole reason it was money, dude. That's the whole reason it was money because it was valuable. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's constitutionally illegal to print bills of dollars. You know, it's with it says in the Constitution this cannot be done, but legislature has passed it. And back in the day, there wasn't a really a way to spread information like the internet.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
think
yeah.
the internet was going to become the way it was. You know, who could have predicted that shit? So yeah, it's fiat by our Constitution, by the United States of America Constitution, is illegal. You cannot
Oh,
print
that's
fiat. You
fucked.
can't print fiat money. They have the right to coin money, but again, the coinage of this money is supposed to be around precious metals only and based on weight. So they have the and by what they say by coining money means to say like if this penny weighs 1 gram and this is gold or silver or whatever, then it's going to have this much purchasing power. Not to say not to create these things out of I don't even know what this is. This is like primarily zinc or some shit. This isn't even copper. This isn't even silver. This is just some bullshit ass metal. And I was comparing two quarters the other day, or last night actually. This is a quarter from 2022, and this is a quarter from 1985. This is not silver, but this is even worse of a metal than this. This doesn't even weigh as much as this anymore. Like I don't even know what they're putting in this shit. They're just mass producing this shit as fast as they can. So that is not coining money. Is not this. Coining money is taking a weight of gold, silver, copper, a precious metal, and establishing the face value for that weight. Like 5 grams is equivalent to this face value. 1 gram is equivalent to this face value. Whatever the fuck, you know, that's what they mean by coining money. So yeah, our current monetary system is constitutionally illegal.
Yeah. And didn't they actually, I don't know if this was just a meme I saw. I mean, it was, but I'm not sure if it's true. Didn't the founding fathers actually say that the Constitution should be looked at and changed every 30 years or so to prevent old ideas from, um, yeah, to prevent the old ideas from sticking around?
Well, we do have, we've had plenty of amendments to the Constitution. The original Constitution is the original Constitution. We've written amendments. We've actually had an amendment to make alcohol illegal, and then we wrote another
Hmm.
amendment to re-legalize alcohol. So,
Yeah.
the original Declaration and Constitution are unchanged, but we do make them. There's grounds for amendments, and there's a certain process that has to be undergone if we're going to make an amendment to the Constitution.
When's the last time an amendment's been made?
Fuck, I don't know, honestly.
See, that's what's scary. Because, like, I don't know, well, don't take offense of this, but I think, like, as far as I hear, Americans are so proud of their constitution, and it's like a
Dude,
bible
a
to them.
large a large percentage of Americans have never
Yeah,
fucking read the Constitution. Guaranteed.
yeah, but it's still right.
Yeah, but they don't know that. There's a difference between things that get passed through legislature and things that are actually constitutionally legal. Like we're supposed to have the right to. This is not about crypto, but we're supposed to have the right to travel, in our vessels whatever that may be, without freedom of or without worry of intervention from the government. We're supposed to have right of passageway as long as we're in a vehicle or vessel that we own, even if it's on a public road funded by the state and by taxes. We're supposed to have that right. But if I get pulled over and fucking Officer Dickbag brings a drug dog to the car and he makes the dog sit down, dog didn't even have to react to the car. Dog sits down. They say the dog indicates. That's it. We're searching your car. No, you don't have a say about it.
What the
Like,
hell?
yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty fucking crazy what goes on over here. And people are just like, I see those, those First Amendment videos. First, I don't know if you've seen them on the internet, but First Amendment checks, right, where people go and they try to instigate some shit with cops to see if they're abusing their power. Bro, this is all over the country. Cops are abusing their
Hmm.
power. Cops don't know the laws. Cops
Yeah,
don't
I
know the
know.
rights. They train the cops to and behave a very certain way. It's fucking crazy, man. But that's another
Well,
conversation.
yeah,
It's absolutely despicable. But as far as the monetary system goes, it's constitutionally illegal for sure. 115%. There's something
that's
that needs to be
interesting.
done about that, and
Yeah.
no one's really taking any action. Guess it's gonna be up to me. We were talking the other day. I'm probably gonna run for president in 2032.
That's a good idea.
Uh,
Probably. I'd vote for you. No, wait, I can't.
no, I have a lot to learn if that's gonna be a real goal of mine because there's more to it than a monetary policy. But that's a big thing that I would want to change for sure. Because this is even taxes. Taxes are not legal. We did not have taxes whenever we gained our independence. We used local systems to get things built that needed to be built based upon local geography, and it's a system that once worked without blockchain, so it's not far fetched to say. The first time that we imposed income tax or taxes was during our own civil war. We taxed ourselves to fight ourselves to remain in power amongst ourselves. And then they're just like, after the war, it's like, hey, you know what? These taxes things are pretty cool. We get to make a little extra money off you guys, so we're just gonna keep doing that. And everyone's like, yeah, yeah, sure, all right, cool, whatever. And then generations later, it's just like, oh, you don't pay taxes? You're going to prison. It's like, no, bro, taxation's theft. Like, you should go to prison for stealing from me. But whatever. I
Pretty
can't
much.
can't change that shit. So let me see if anyone else has any other questions here in the comments. Or Blaj, did you have any other questions for me, my good sir?
No, no questions.
All right, sweet deal. Crypto Slot says, "Yo, my man Blaj." Crypto Slot says, "Shout out Blaj." Jenny says, "You
What
say
up?
45% tax on crypto in the states?" I sure did. It's fucking disgusting. That's a realized gain on Bitcoin. So altcoins are a little bit. There's a lot of different structures about different altcoins because basically they can't prove shit with DeFi protocols. But if you're realizing a gain in Bitcoin right now, there's a 45% tax on it. And then Clinton says, so the value of anything in people's willingness to trade for that something. What you think? Yeah, absolutely, man. The
Yeah.
value of the dollar, it has value because we believe in it. We give it value. Same thing for Bitcoin. If you want Bitcoin to have value, you have to believe in it. You have to give it value. If I don't, if I don't want Bitcoin, it's fucking worthless to me. If you want to offer me 10
Hmm.
Bitcoin for, my car, my house, whatever, but I don't want the Bitcoin, it's worthless to me. It's worth a lot to you, whatever you think it is against the current market value, but to me, it's worthless. I don't want it. It's the same thing. Even gold, something that's been proven money for the last 5,000 years. If you want to pay me in gold for this car, but I say, no, you know what? I don't want that fucking gold. I want $20,000 cash money, boy. Then gold is useless. It's worthless to me. So yeah, it absolutely. You're 100% right. Things only have value if we give them value, and fiat only has value because it's been instilled in us to believe that shit. And then Janie says, "Crazy man, crazy." Yeah, I love living in the States. I definitely do have a lot of freedoms here, but there's a lot of invisible chains as well. So I think we can call it for that one. Got a little bit over an hour in on the session. My man Blash on the stream. Shout out Blash. Any last thing you want to get out to our viewers, good sir, before we depart for the day?
Um, that should be it. Well, I was gonna talk about that other indicator, if we still have time.
Oh
I
yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
get to that.
Put it up on there, man. No problem.
Yeah.
Let me come over
Okay.
to your screen share. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. That's pretty cool though. All right, we're back on your screen.
Okay, so basically, it's a well, let's say a better version of a more detailed version of the ADX indicator, which a lot of you probably know, also invented by Wilder. So basically, if I look at this indicator, it's made of the ADX, which is the white line. Then there's the ADXR, which stands for ADX rating, and that's just the current price, the current value of the ADX minus the value of the ADX 14 periods ago divided by 2, so it's some kind of weird
Can you double
average.
click that to enlarge it, good sir?
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's
Yeah,
all right. All right.
didn't
Thank you,
hit me.
sir.
And then it's also made of the DI plus and the DI minus, which are the green and red lines, respectively. So what you're supposed to do, as Wilder states, is that you don't actually enter a trend following trade if the ADXR is not above the 25 line. So once it is, you can enter based on, for example, the cross of the green and red lines, so the DI plus and DI minus. And just for clarification, the DI plus and DI minus are actually used in the equation for the ADX. So they are actually all part of the same thing, just different parts of the equation, basically. So what you can do is, let's say this is the hourly, and see, well, even here, if we were below the 25, if you would have entered on the cross between the green and the red line, so on this candle, and you longed, and Wilder says that you should just hold until they cross again. Well, that's a hell of a lot of profits right there. So just that is what 10% by itself without leverage. So that's insane. I think you can, if you just make a strategy like for bots based on that, I think you could be in profit, because like, yeah, there are parts like this where price consolidates and they just keep crossing one another, but they do eventually just like go on a big move and yeah, go wild. And well, you can, he also says that you can exit the position once the ADX starts turning down to the downside.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the, for example, the green line is still above the red line and the ADX starts turning up again, you can re-enter there because the move is not over. So there's that. Like, I think I've had an example on the 5 minute. I could be wrong. Yeah, here's the same thing actually. On the 5 minutes, I've, as far as I've seen, it's pretty good. Again, you enter here and you can ride it all the way to here. It's insane that it can like survive all of these dips and stuff. Like, not a lot of indicators are that good.
Yeah, you know
But I'm
what? We
still
should totally
experimenting
work
with
on a
it.
bot for this. Do you have three
Yeah,
commas?
yeah, of course I do.
We should totally
You
work
taught
on a
me.
bot for this.
Yeah, sure. I'm down for it because I'm not that good at Pine script yet, so I would definitely appreciate your help.
Are there any? Do you have any ways to set an alert on that script? Ah, fuck. We
I
could
don't know,
we could
but
work it out.
we could totally make our own. No, I don't think it Oh,
See what the
it has
alerts look like.
alerts
Oh,
for all
nice.
4 of them.
Well, we could do it
Yeah,
just with that. We
definitely.
wouldn't even have to
Yeah,
find anything new.
for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Just the only thing that worries me is that usually these two cross and go on a big move when the ADXR is actually below the 25 line. So we're gonna have to see about that.
Well, we can run it on paper trading account anyway.
Yeah, yeah, sure. We can just
Run it up
experiment a bit
for
and
like 6 months to a year, see what we get out of it.
yeah, like the like again, the 5 minutes seems very good for this, and so yeah, and we can always put like a trailing stop loss on it, to put us into profits, because it seems that the initial spike can be very good, but then it can drop down, and you wouldn't, for example, here you wouldn't really be in profits, but you wouldn't really be that much in a loss either, because yeah, this is something I've noticed, that even if you aren't in profits, the loss won't be that big,
You know
it
what we
seems.
can do
So
too
you
is
can't fuck it up that much.
you can set it to like start and stop on the signal crosses, but also too we can give it a
Yeah.
percentage goal. So that way, if
Also,
it fills the
yeah,
percentage goal, like for example that 10% run up, if it filled
yeah,
5% goal or whatever, it would have taken profits. Or in this instance, instead of going up, coming back down, and just closing for a break even, maybe it takes a like 0.7% or whatever the fuck. We could set up a
yeah,
TP goal and a signal close.
true. We can also set it that if it spikes up like this, we can assign it a value. For example, well, geez, here it's 70. If it crosses like a certain number, maybe like 50 or 70, and the first time it moves down and closes like that, it can just exit the trade. It's like some kind of scalping bot, I think that might also work. I don't know.
We'll try a couple different variations.
Yeah, sure.
Hell yeah, we can work on that. We try and get something done at the next group trading session, huh? Which I think
Definitely.
we should have one coming up on Tuesday. That's going to be in the Crypto University Discord, though, not my server. All right, Mr. Blaxx, thank you for showing us that. Can't wait to get
Yeah,
started on that bot with you.
same.
Looks like we have that group trading session. It's going to be my 10 a.m. So, 2, 3. It's going to be 1500 UTC Tuesday. If anyone's here in the Crypto University server. If not, I don't have a link ready for it, so sorry. But yeah, we'll do some work on it there. So thanks everybody. Doesn't look like we got any new comments or anything yet. So thanks everyone who stuck around, watched our presentation. I hope
Yeah,
you were able to learn something from Blaxx showing us his RSI trendline strategy and his combined ADX crossover strategy. And if we can bring something to life with those bots, we'll let you know. Blaxx, you want to give a farewell to our... Looks
yeah,
like we have
sure.
6 viewers right now, and anyone who might be watching this recording later.
Thanks for having me. You can follow me on Twitter. I drop some trade signals there. You can also find me on Crypto University with Edward, and on his server,
What's your
his
Twitter
Discord
handle?
server.
You want to drop it in the comments?
I will. Hold on.
If y'all want to give Blaxx a follow, pretty good at TA. Must have learned from a pretty smart fella or something. He drops, as he said, he shares some trades sometimes to Twitter, posts in the Crypto University Discord, and he's also active in my Discord. So Blaxx is a hell of a guy.
I learned from the best.
I'm far from the best. I'm so far from the best. That's why we try to learn every single day, huh?
Yeah. Well, I learned from the OK then.
Yeah, that's right. You got your Twitter handle in the comments here?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't see it. Did you
Oh,
post
in
a
the chat
link?
actually.
I mean the chat. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, I can't comment anyway.
You can't comment.
Well, doesn't look like there are comments.
Oh yeah,
Am I
no.
blind?
I meant in the chat. The comments should go live
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Fair enough. It's in the chat.
All right, sweet. I don't see it on my end, but whatever. He says it's there, so we gonna fuck with
Weird.
y'all then. Thank you guys for coming out, and see y'all at my next YouTube
Yeah.
live stream in a week. We're gonna be doing a daily trading session. Hopefully, we don't get wrecked on stream again. See y'all there.
See ya,
Peace.
guys.